Welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Super Adventure Island 2. We are going to basically finally start the challenge now, and we'll head inside Poka Poka Island and see if we can discover Tina's whereabouts. Poka Poka is basically a forested island. Most of the enemies will be fairly stationary, so they aren't too hard to kill. However, you'll notice that right from the start they take several hits to defeat. It's not going to get any easier for us. In fact, by the end of the game there are enemies that take 16 hits to kill, or more. Oop! You'll notice up top, whenever you get hit by an enemy, the heart meter goes down a little bit. So you need to be careful of that. And then whenever you get a coin, it adds to your money stash there. Each one adds $5, I guess. Down here we've got a soil, which we can't quite dig through yet. We'll have to come back when we get some sort of implement to dig through that. And we come to our first door here, so let's head into the tree trunk, which apparently isn't a tree trunk inside, it's more like a hedge. Anyway, and we'll read this stone tablet, which says, "Break the rock to open the gate and swim beyond." Well, that's really useful. There we go. Looks like there's some kind of a pond and a treasure chest down below, but you can't swim in water, you can only float. So, we'll have to find a way to get rid of that water, I guess. Let's head down here. You notice on the left there are some blocks with a lightning symbol. Well, we can't stand on them because they're half invisible, so let's head right. And that brings us to a rock. That must be the one they were talking about on the tablet and in my dream. But apparently, according to Tina, we need a silver sword to break it. So I guess we're going to have to find that first. Don't jump over there, obviously, because all of those light blocks are invisible. We've got more over here in a roly-poly gremlin thing. Oh, what's this? Well, let's go in here first and find out. There are 5 switches: moon, star, sun, aqua, and light. They can be found on all islands except Waku Waku and Fua Fua. Stand on the switch and then squat down to turn it on or off. While the crystal shines, the blocks with the same symbol will solidify. That's pretty self-explanatory. So if we stand on top of it and squat, that turns them on. And now you see they're fully visible and we can stand on them. So that's pretty much one of the big puzzles of this game, is when to turn these switches on and when to turn them off. There's an eagle. There we go. And at the end of this hall we find a pig which takes 4 hits. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then a treasure chest with, ta-da! Our silver sword. So now we can break that rock. So let's head back there. Make sure to kill eagles if you run into them, because they do come back at you otherwise. Well, see, like that. You'll notice my health's pretty low. Hopefully I don't die here. If you do die in any level, you just return to the first area of that level, so it's not a big issue. Let's head over here first and see what we can find. Those green potions are for magic, which we don't have yet. And then if you get a red potion, like that, that is health potion. That big one refills your full health. Notice I'm back to a full heart. Whereas a small one refills, I believe, half of a heart tank or a full magic bottle, which we'll get later. And that brings us to a door over here. Now notice that switch above me. That will remove this white barricade, but you have to get to it from that other door. And these are actually connections between the islands in the game. So we'll have to get to this area from another island, basically, in order to open that connector link. But we won't get to that for a while, so there's no worry about that yet. piggy piggies. And now we can finally break this rock that was in the way. So we switch to the silver sword weapon for that one time. Break the rock, and then switch back to your fist once the water is drained out. Now we can head up to this pond and get the treasure chest too. Make sure not to run into fish while you're at it. And we get half of a life bottle. So now we have 1.5 hearts. There's nothing over this way, so let's head back. Oh, man, he wanted me. Master Higgins, watch out! Those fish are piranhas, apparently. There we go. And down into the whirlpool we go. Yeah, basically those are just transitional periods between different parts of the stage you can't reach traditionally. You'll see plenty of those later on in the game. Now these springboards up here have 3 distances that you can travel on them. You can bounce once for a small jump, 2 times for a medium, and 3 times for a high jump. And over here we've got invisible blocks with a moon symbol. Well, we'll have to turn on the moon switch to get that treasure chest. And then over here we have our first instance of a technique block. These require a down strike, obviously, but we can't do that yet, so we can't get that chest either. As you can tell, there will be some backtracking. Alright, and this hot springs will refill all our energy. Now we can continue on. One of my best tips for this challenge is to make sure you find every life bottle that you can as soon as you can. Otherwise, the bosses are really going to be tough. These first 3 actually aren't bad, but all of the others beyond those are very difficult. I've made it to the very end of the game on this challenge on my test run, and I can't even begin to tell you how hard these final bosses are going to be. Anyway, these blocks are protecting that chest. We'll have to turn off the sun switch to get to those. And now we can reach the upper canopy up here. Avoiding eagles if we can. Notice the ground is kind of discolored here, and there's a space above. That'll come into play much later when we return to this area. For now, we head into this shrine, which has an altar. But we don't have any key items to use, so this won't be of much use yet. Another tip I have for playing this challenge and hopefully succeeding with it is to try to avoid enemies in the most part if you can. This rock we can't quite budge yet. We'll come back to that too. A lot of these different puzzles, sort of Metroid-esque, I guess, where you need different abilities to access treasures. Anyway, yeah, if you avoid enemies like that, it's just much easier in the whole challenge. Of course, you can alter the rules if you want to say you have to kill enemy you come across, but that's a bit much for me. And using that platform jumping, we got our dagger. And this enemy we're going to use to defeat the boss of Hiya-Hiya Island later. There we go. I don't know what's up with these palm trees. I've never seen a palm tree that grows like that. What can I say? I guess that's the island for you. Make sure to get full life here by respawning enemies, and that before going into this door, because this is the boss room. I think I'll stop it here, and on the next episode we'll take on the boss of this island and we'll continue exploring. So join me next time, and I'll see you when we take on the boss of Poka Poka Island. Until then.